Hello, everyone. Ted Clayton here. Quick video, just a thought. I feel that when one assumes that a short man is insecure about their height, uh, that already is admitting to how the other person views you, that they see you as inferior. Now, normally there's other signs that you can kind of point to, but in terms of insecurity or just when trying to identify someone. But with people, they just have height and then that's it. Let me just give you a quick illustration. So the other day, I was at the Oculus and I was passing by the security guard. Now, coming, I was, as I was passing by her, I was coming across this tall man, right? So now the the security guard is looking at the other individual, really just looking in that direction, right? And this guy was pretty tall. Okay. When they turn around to just change direction, they didn't know it was coming. But when they turn around and look and change direction and see me, they quickly turn their head back the other direction. Sort of, I didn't see anything, but it was so blatant because they tried to, they were naturally move, just circumventing the area. They were naturally turning their head to look the opposite direction. They already seen what was going on in that direction. But when they saw me walking, I guess they made an assumption. I didn't see anything. I see this other tall man in one side, really tall man, like a 6'4", 6'5", maybe even. But then I see this really short man. I didn't see anything. They just turned their head. I didn't see anything. And for me, I already seen the gesture you made, which is hurtful in and of itself. But what I'm saying is, why would you make that assumption that I'd be insecure about that? Uh, eh, so when I see, wouldn't one think that making that kind of expression that would hurt my feelings? I'm gonna be very objective about this and detached, where I get where some people they don't want to get into any run-ins. But I would feel that the best thing to do is just treat everyone as an individual. Now, have your reservations, yes, of course. Where if you see a certain demographic group of people, you would say, well, they're known or they have a reputation for, so I'm going to tread lightly, but I'm going to treat them as an individual. I'm not going to walk in with a certain perspective. Treat them as an individual fairly, but then it's basically like a three-strike system. Once you start to see that, okay, now they're actually living up to that stereotype, then then you're right. Then then they prove, they prove, how can you proved you proved them right, but essentially you lived up to that stereotype. But people don't do that. They just come at you with with a preconceived idea, which is basically enact on it, which is basically bigotry. And the thing is, with other groups, I mean, there's usually more that would identify the person. So, for example, an easy one that I can give is like a ghetto black person, right? But really ghetto, like really ratchet, right? Really wild. You'll usually see some more signs other than just skin color. You'll see maybe the way they dress. Um, it's basically obvious, and you could say it's a spiritual, it's a psychological connotation to it that they have to kind of give these signs. But with a short man, it's just height. That's it. Like that's just one factor. That's it. That's one dimension. But you'll see. You could use skin color. You can use that, but then the way they dress, and then you can probably even go down to the way they talk, and then maybe their behavior. But this is just a one-dimensional thing. And like I was saying, again, it was just from the way they responded, as if they didn't see anything, which is one, that's their job. They're uh, uh, observing. They're circumspecting everything. They're on guard. But it it was pretty obvious. And then when you see the variables, you kind of can deduce, making a logical assumption or deduction as to why they responded that way, because they assumed that I would feel some kind of way, but they don't know me. So and then that's the thing is then when you get into this then when you start to have discussions about this, where, hey, this is kind of treatment that we deal with, nothing. It's not that I'm upset, but it is frustrating, or not that I'm taking anything personal against anyone, but it's just frustrating. Oh no, you're just blowing things out of proportion. It's just all in your head, or you need to grow up. You need to, get over it, et cetera, et cetera. But then that's an obvious pattern right there. And then, again, with something like that, I can be detached and say, well, they're on. They're working. They don't want to go through anything. They don't want to go through extra hassle. But there's also, well, if you're being fair, if you're being objective, then you can confidently go back to your superior and say, I was treating that person like an individual fairly. I don't see what the problem was. I don't see what their issue was. So, I mean, I think making that assumption already tells where how people, what their opinion is. That's just my thoughts on that. Anyway, just left the library, done for the day, going to have a quick bite to eat, and that's about it. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the rest of your day.